something inside you already knows. It's not something you learn from words or something you find in books. It's an internal whisper, an almost imperceptible vibration that begins to pulse when everything seems to make no sense. You walk down the street, feeling life slipping through your fingers, but something deep down, something ancient and silent, begins to move. You may not be able to name it, but you feel it. It's as if reality is trying to tell you something, in a disguised way, beyond the reach of common language. You begin to notice small signs, a number that repeats itself, a song that plays at the exact moment you think of someone, a dream that returns night after night. And then, the intrusive thought, this can't be just a coincidence. And it isn't. In fact, it's the prelude. It's the call in disguise. Because when nothing makes sense on the surface of life, it's the invisible that's about to reveal itself. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it destiny. This quote from Carl Jung is not just a quote, it's a map, and you're about to cross it. The gears of the invisible move silently. The surface may seem random, but the background is orchestrated. Sometimes what you call a crisis is just the exact moment when old structures need to crumble so that the new can reveal itself. It's not punishment, it's preparation. The discomfort, the feeling of being lost, the encounters and disagreements, they're pieces of a puzzle that only make sense when seen from above, after time has passed. But what if I told you that you don't have to wait for time to pass? That there is a lens through which you can see the scene behind the scene? That lens is the awareness of synchronicity. Carl Jung lived this. In 1920, while seeing a skeptical patient, he heard her describe a dream about a golden beetle. As she spoke, something tapped on the window. It was a beetle, golden, rare, similar to the one in the dream. For Jung, that was no coincidence. It was a symbolic response from the universe to the patient's emotional field, a call to openness. Life there had responded. Jung understood. There are events that are not connected by cause and effect, but by meaning. Now you begin to remember that time when you thought of someone and that person appeared. That strange phase when everything seemed to go wrong. And then, something fundamental changed. Or that loss that, however hard it was, put you on a truer path. These moments are like cracks in the matrix, gaps where reality shows itself in its entirety. And when that happens, everything inside you aligns. Even if for a second. Maybe now is that second. You are here, listening to this, because something inside you called for this conversation. And no, that is no coincidence either. Synchronicity is an invitation. It appears when you are ready to see, and you only see when you are ready to feel. Life begins to sew the visible and the invisible into the same fabric. Nothing outside happens without a seed vibrating inside you first. Think about the time you avoided a path and then discovered that something bad happened there. Or when you lost a job and shortly after found a greater purpose. Think about the books that fell into your lap at just the right moment, the conversations that seemed scripted to heal you, the signs you ignored, and those that, when followed, opened paths you never imagined existed. Jung taught us that the outer world reflects the inner. When you start to get in touch with your unconscious, your symbols, your archetypes, your wounds, the universe responds. And it responds with frightening precision. It sends clues, patterns, encounters. It's as if life was waiting for you to become conscious so it can start dancing with you. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what's happening here. And if a sign brought you to this video, comment below. I felt the call. You are not alone. The discomfort you are currently feeling is part of the process. When everything seems to be falling apart, it is the self, that central core that Jung described as the axis of the soul that begins to manifest. The self wants to align you. It wants you to remember what you came here to do. But it can only reach you when you are vulnerable enough to listen. Sometimes, the universe stops us from continuing down a road precisely because it knows where it ends. If you are feeling lost right now, you need to understand. The path has not disappeared. It has been bent. And now it is beginning to align with something greater. In Egyptian spirituality, it was believed that the destiny of a soul was revealed by small signs, sounds, animals, subtle changes in the air. This ancient wisdom already understood that reality is symbolic, that the language of the Creator is not spoken, but felt. Synchronicity is this language. It does not shout, but whispers. And now perhaps you are hearing it clearly for the first time. It is when everything seems uncertain that the invisible comes closer and manifests itself with greater force, but only for those who are attentive, for those who are willing to get out of automatic mode and look at the world with different eyes, those who recognize patterns, not coincidences. So, observe. What has been repeating itself in your life? What symbols appear in your dreams? What premonitions have you ignored and later regretted? The answer you seek may not come as a logical sentence, but as a symbol, a song, a smell, an instant. Have you ever noticed how some messages come to you in such an unlikely way that it almost seems like a joke? A conversation that you overhear by accident. A random video that appears at the exact moment you needed that word. A stranger who says exactly what your heart has been silently screaming. It's not luck. It's not chance. The universe doesn't miss the address. These signs are not isolated events. They are parts of a secret language, and a deeply personal one. And the most curious thing? It only reveals itself when you are ready. It's as if there were an access code, your consciousness. When you start to see with more sensitivity, the messages become clearer. When you decide to listen, the sound increases. Every significant coincidence carries a message. This means that life is constantly trying to communicate with you, but it does so delicately, without invading, without forcing. It offers. You choose to see it, or not. A phrase that appears repeatedly. A symbol in your dreams. A memory that insists on coming back. These are all codes, signs from your own soul wanting to remind you of the path. So the next time something seems too unlikely to be a coincidence, stop, breathe, and ask yourself, what is this trying to show me? Every meaningful coincidence carries a message. You'll understand how the universe speaks to you through the improbable, and why you only see it when you're ready. You don't hear a sound. There is no voice. There is no written message. But something inside you knows that something has changed. A subtle, almost imperceptible sensation, like a whisper coming from the air itself. A movement in the invisible that makes you turn your face, pay attention, slow down. These are calls that don't use words, but that speak directly to what is awake within you. Carl Jung said, "Synchronicities are attempts by the unconscious to wake us up." And that's exactly it. When the conscious mind is distracted, running after the clock, it is the unconscious that guides your eyes to a repeated number, a forgotten letter in an old book, a butterfly in a place where there was only concrete, small eruptions of the divine, inviting you to remember. You begin to realize that these signs have always been there. Always. In childhood, when something inside you sensed danger and protection. In adolescence, when music seemed to translate your soul. And now, in adulthood, when you realize that certain encounters were not by chance, and certain losses were not either. Maybe you've ignored all of this for a long time, called it coincidence, luck, intuition. But now, something inside you opens up. And when it does, it's impossible to go back to sleep the same way. It's not about magic. It's about awareness. The call doesn't come with fireworks. It comes with silence. It finds you in the space between one thought and the next. In the space where you finally stop controlling and start feeling. When you recognize this, life changes its tone. Because you realize that it was never silent. It was just that you hadn't tuned in yet. You notice that certain dreams return, like persistent echoes from your unconscious. They are not mere coincidences, but rather veiled messages that the soul sends, trying to balance what the conscious mind ignores. Carl Jung believed that dreams function as a symbolic mirror, compensating for repressed or forgotten aspects of your psyche. When an image, a symbol, or even a situation repeats itself in your dreams or in life, you are faced with a language of the invisible, a way for your unconscious to communicate directly with you. It is in this cycle of repetitions that you begin to understand the profound wisdom behind the universe. These manifestations are not mere coincidence. They are a call for you to turn inward and reflect on the aspects of your life that have not yet received your full attention. Perhaps a pattern of behavior, an unresolved emotion, or a hidden fear. The soul is trying to balance itself, bringing to your conscious field that which needs to be integrated so that you can move forward. Are you listening to these signs? Dreams are more than just night stories. They are the encrypted map of your inner world, and the key to understanding them is to pay attention to repetition, to details that escape you at first glance. Jung said that recognizing and working with these symbols can transform your journey, awakening parts of you that were previously dormant. When that scene repeats itself, or that symbol returns, accept the call. Allow yourself to reflect on what the universe and your unconscious are trying to show you. It is in this space that healing begins, and the invisible becomes a faithful guide on your journey. Have you ever felt that certain people appear in your life at the exact moment you need them most? As if an invisible force guided them to you, crossing your path with a silent purpose. These encounters are not mere coincidences, but rather intentional acts of the universe that wants to redirect your story. Carl Jung spoke of these connections as synchronicities, events that have no apparent causal relationship, but that carry a deep meaning for you. They are catalytic encounters, capable of opening internal doors that were closed, bringing new perspectives and accelerating transformations. Think of that friend who appeared when you felt lost, or that unexpected mentor who, with a few words, changed your view of the world. These people act as mirrors and guides, revealing parts of yourself that were hidden. They challenge your beliefs and sometimes confront your comfort zones, stimulating growth. It is no coincidence that these key figures appear. It is the universe speaking your language, delivering messages through faces and conversations. Recognizing this invisible hand requires sensitivity and openness. You begin to realize that your journey is not a solitary one, that the cosmos conspires in your favor, connecting you with the right people at the right time. Each encounter carries a lesson, a chance to rewrite your personal script. When this happens, allow yourself to be present and attentive. Feel the weight of these connections, for they may be the key to your awakening. Often, what you perceive as a delay or failure could be exactly what you needed to prepare for something greater. Those confusing moments when it seems like you are walking in circles or facing closed doors are not mere stumbling blocks on the path. They are, in fact, essential steps in building your destiny. Carl Jung said that he who looks outside dreams. He who looks inside awakens. You are in this process of awakening, even if the fog seems thick and the signs difficult to understand. What you call deviation or loss plays a fundamental role. It paves the way for what you still cannot see clearly. When you go through a period where everything seems uncertain, your soul is being shaped, polished, like a craftsman working a rough piece. Each challenge is a disguised teaching. Each difficulty brings a lesson that, when assimilated, transforms your interior. making you stronger, wiser, more aligned with the purpose that the universe wants to reveal. Think of seeds. They remain hidden beneath the earth, seemingly untouched, until at the right time, they break through the surface to blossom. So is your journey. This invisible time is essential for you to develop deep, firm, and healthy roots, the foundation for lasting and meaningful growth. You may not realize it now, but all the pieces are falling into place. Those encounters, the synchronicities, the silent calls, the dreams that insist on repeating themselves, they are all part of the same fabric, the sacred fabric of your life, woven by the universe to lead you to your greatest destiny. And the most fascinating thing, you are not alone. The cosmos, your intuition, and your unconscious work together, guiding you behind the scenes, preparing the ground so that, at the right time, you recognize the call and move with confidence. Now, reflect. What delays in your life? What falls and detours can you begin to see in this new light? What lesson do they hold for you? What preparation is happening there beneath the surface? Sometimes true wisdom lies in trusting in the unseen, in knowing that even when everything seems uncertain, there is a greater plan, and you are exactly where you are supposed to be, preparing for a transformative leap. So, take a deep breath and feel it within yourself. Life may be calling you to something greater, and the universe never misses the address. And if this video resonated with you, leave a like and share your experience in the comments. Subscribe to continue this journey of profound discoveries with me. After all, you deserve to understand that everything happens at the right time, and your awakening is closer than you think.